All right, so today we're going to talk about developing our thesis paragraph. To identify the thesis statement, which is the first thing we need to do in order to make our thesis paragraph, we simply take the research question that we developed in step 3 and rephrase it into a statement. For example, my research question was, in The Crucible, how does Arthur Miller use allegory to draw parallels between the witch trials in 1692 Salem and the House Un-American Activities Committee? So my thesis statement would be, as you see here, in The Crucible, Arthur Miller employed the use of allegory in order to draw parallels between the witch trials of 1692 Salem and the House Un-American Activities Committee. Good enough. So now we get into the actual development of the thesis paragraph. After reading our sources and developing a thesis statement, which we've done here, you are ready to draft a working thesis paragraph. You will compose a paragraph consisting of about 12 sentences, and you want to hit the following 4 points here. 1, your opening should be about 3 sentences. It should define the focus of your paper, what you're going to explore. Typically, I like to start with a historical, social context, kind of set the stage for the world that the novel or the play, what have you, exists in. Number 2, you want to have what we call a tag sentence. Tag stands for title, author, and genre. So you want to introduce the complete correct tag. For example, Arthur Miller is the author, his play is the genre, and The Crucible is the title. Number 3, you want to explain how the general storyline illustrates the focal concept that you're going to discuss in your paper, the focus of your paper. And number 4, you want to conclude with a thesis statement that establishes purpose, right? You end with your thesis statement. Remember, you are not to use any cited material in your thesis paragraph. Cited material is really only for support of your own ideas and arguments, and therefore they should only really exist in your body paragraphs. All right, so let's go down and take a look here at my example. Okay, so my example paragraph is on Arthur Miller's use of allegory to draw parallels to the HUAC. So, let's go back here. This yellow bit here, this is the general historical social context, all right, of the paper. The mid-20th century in the United States was a time of great patriotism and great fear. The U.S. had emerged victorious in World War II, but a new menace now loomed on the horizon. The Red Scare, as it was known, had Americans in its grip of fear over the threat of communist infiltration in American government and institutions. Out of this fear grew the influence of Senator Joseph McCarthy in the House Un-American Activities Committee, or HUAC. McCarthy and the HUAC's tactics were aggressive, over the top, and bordering on illegal. So this is the general context of what inspired the play, right? My tag sentence, this is the world that inspired Arthur Miller's play, The Crucible. Okay, now I know that The Crucible takes place in 1692, but he used that as an allegory for the events of 1953. So what we have here is fine. Now, going on to the general storyline and how that illustrates the focus on the paper. This part in green. In observing the modus operandi of the HUAC, Miller saw clear similarities between their actions and those used by the court established in Salem, Massachusetts in the winter of 1692. Baseless accusations, fear, and revenge drove the court in Salem, and Miller believed the same were driving the HUAC. All right, so we have the connection between the HUAC and the court in Salem, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. Knowing that he could not speak out against the HUAC directly, Arthur Miller wrote The Crucible as an allegory in order to draw a parallel between the witch trials in 1692 Salem and the House Un-American Activities Committee. Hey, that's my thesis statement. Look how that worked out. So, that is what we are looking for in your thesis paragraph. Please reach out if you have any questions, and we'll talk soon. Bye.